I was sitting on the back porch this fine morning. It's Sunday and I'm about to go to Mass, and I couldn't get this one story out of my head about St. John Bosco defending the pomp and circumstance of church ceremonies to Protestants. And he actually found biblical reference for incense and candles and things like that. So since I was about to go to Mass, I thought I just have to tell you about this.
The Catholic Men's Podcast, helping you find good works of literature for the Catholic gentleman.
This incident is taken from the biographical memoirs of St. John Bosco by Father Lemoyne, and I'll be putting the entire quote in the comments section below. You want your toy? Go get it. In the early months of 1862, many Protestant families were turning to the true church. Don Bosco frequently met with a Waldensian minister named Wolff, really a Catholic at heart, though not yet formally, who now and then called on Don Bosco with some of his Waldensian friends. Now, I refer to the Waldensians as Protestants, even though this religion predated Lutheranism and was started by Peter Waldo, but they're both extremely similar. The effect was the same. The Waldensians protested the Catholic religion, and some of the more incorrigible members tried to take Don Bosco's life a great number of times. At any rate, by listening to Don Bosco, they often became convinced of their error and willingly embraced the Catholic faith. Now one day, the saint was teaching his Salesians about a verse from the Gospel of St. John. The hour is coming and is now here when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. He commented that Protestants misinterpret these words as an argument against exterior worship, and he spoke about a tough debate he had 5 or 6 days before with Protestants in a private home. It went something like this. To begin with, do you know what in spirit means? I asked. Well, it means that God should be adored selflessly and fervently in one's own heart, not superstitiously as Catholics do, they replied, considering our exterior worship a mere masquerade. Were this really so, I rejoined, I'd agree with you, but it is decidedly not. Anyway, let's continue. What does in truth mean? Well, it means that God should be adored in a real, not in an empty way, they replied. Did you say real? I asked. Yes. Very well. Real means something concrete. How can a concrete thing be only in one's own heart? Rather put out, my opponents had to admit that I was right. You know what? There are so many cars passing by. I guess it's not the early morning anymore. I think I have to just put the camera on Griffin, and I'm going to go inside and narrate this in my little sound studio. So I'll be right back.
Well then, I went on, in spirit and in truth must also be taken to read that exterior means may and should be used in worshiping God. Furthermore, they also reveal serious doctrinal and liturgical differences between Hebrew and Christian ritual and ceremony. In spirit and in truth means that all Old Testament rites and sacrifices, mere figures of those of the New Testament, would one day be superseded by a real sacrifice, truly pleasing to God. Read the first chapter of St. Luke's Gospel, and you'll see a magnificent sacrifice being celebrated with all of the splendor of exterior rite and ceremony, with altar, thurible, and incense. All this foreshadowed the solemn Mass, the real, true sacrifice. The first chapter of the Acts of the Apostles tells us that they met with the disciples in the cenacle to pray. The next chapter shows them offering the Eucharistic sacrifice and partaking of communion at that gathering. The authentic history of Christianity's first 3 centuries proves that Christians, following the Apostles' tradition, celebrated Holy Mass with altars, solemn rites, singing the psalms, flowers, incense, and lights. Read the 4th and subsequent chapters of the Apocalypse. They describe a sacred rite so minutely that you will think you're watching the sacrifice offered in your own Catholic churches. You will see the altar, the censer, the incense, the candlesticks, the lamps, the scented golden vessels, the elders' golden crowns or mitres, the ritual boughs, the harps, the canticles, and the procession of the white-clad virgins. In a word, everything the Church uses for ritual splendor. When I finished speaking, one of the Protestants looked for a copy of the New Testament. All they had was the adulterated translation into Italian by Giovanni Diodati. I let them use it anyway because I was certain that it would contain enough to convince them. After they had checked the passages I had quoted, I pointed out and explained a few others then and there. They concluded, we really had never paid much attention to these passages. So I went on, now tell me, how do your churches resemble Jerusalem's holy temple? Do you have altars, censers, incense, candles? Does your manner of honoring God resemble what the apostles did and what the angels themselves do in heaven? Don't you think we are reasonable in imitating the saints and the angels as we adore God? Of course. Truthfully, we must admit we have nothing of all you mentioned. In conclusion, one of them, an evangelical minister, remarked, this is something we shall have to think about. This debate and the Waldensian minister's misgivings dealt a serious blow to their position. As a result, many Protestants turned to the Catholic Church. Infuriated at losing these souls, Satan vented his rage on Don Bosco by depriving him of his sleep, as Bishop John Caliero has well reported. This truly diabolical vexation began in the first days of February 1862. We became aware that Don Bosco was daily getting more and more worn out. He was pale, gaunt, dispirited, more tired than usual, and obviously in need of rest. We asked him what was wrong. I just need to sleep, he replied. I haven't slept the last 4 or 5 nights. Well, we answered, don't work at night anymore. Go to bed and sleep. I wish I could, but he won't let me. Who? For some nights now, he replied, the devil has been having fun at my expense. No sooner do I fall asleep than a booming voice shouts into my ear and drives me out of my mind. Then a blast of wind rattles me as if in a storm and plays havoc with my papers and books. Late one night, for instance, I had been editing a forthcoming issue of Letture Catholique entitled The Power of Darkness and had left it on my desk. In the morning I found it on the floor. Other mornings I had to search for it. I can't rest. No sooner would I close my eyes than I would hear hammer blows striking under my pillow. If I sat up, the noise stopped. If I lay down, it began anew. Such torture. I longed for daybreak. I laugh when I talk about these things, but you can be sure that I don't feel like laughing at all. I am very much disturbed. Last year was a hectic year for the oratory, but this year beats it by far. I shall question him in the name of Jesus Christ, and force him to tell me if he is sent by God to put me to a test, or from Lucifer to hinder the good work we have begun. He will have no choice. What if he refuses to answer? We asked him. I shall force him. He shall have to. What will you say to him? We asked. I shall tell him, he replied, I adjure you in the name of Jesus Christ to tell me what you are and what you want. But don't you know yet why he torments you? I have an idea that the devil doesn't want our Catholic school at Porta Nuova to open because it may checkmate the Protestant one. No, the evil spirit shall not prevail. The battle with the spirit of darkness went on until 1864, when it suddenly stopped, but Don Bosco never revealed what caused the devil to leave him alone. I think it likely that he inflicted some incredible penance on himself and drove the devil away by prayer and fasting, though he would never admit to such a heroic act.
Thank you all so much for watching and putting up with all the technical difficulties, and if you'd like to watch another video about St. John Bosco, where Waldensians tried to take his life, just click on the link above me here. God bless you, and Our Lady keep you.